So another chapter down, another book of the Bible down, we are in the last chapter of Joshua chapter 24. And it's a really nice wrap up to Joshua and his ministry, if you will. He fought for the Lord, both spiritually and physically in battle. And God was with him, and you can see the fruits of his labor. And so in verses 1 through 13, God found them and brought them out. I love how the beginning of the chapter details how God, he found Abraham, right? Abram, and he chose him. And he wanted to remind Israel that they did not earn it. Yes, they fought the battles, but they only won the battles because God was with them. If God had not been with them, they would not have won the battles. And so it's a good reminder to Israel as they enter into this new chapter that they need to honor God above all. And this is a reoccurring pattern, right? They need to be continuously reminded. And, we are no different than them. I need to continuously remind myself, the things that I have, it's not because I earned it. It's because of God's grace and, especially my salvation. Oh my goodness, we didn't do a thing to earn that. It's just because he loves us, and it's a beautiful gift that he's given to us. But, on this level here, Joshua is reminding the people that they need to continue honoring God. In verses 16 through 18, they said, we will honor God. So in verses 19 through 24, they received a warning. God will not be with you if you turn away from him. Okay, this is significant because when we read Judges, we'll read about how Israel did not listen to these warnings. They did not. They just didn't. But we'll read about that in Judges. And verses 25 through 28, Joshua made a covenant for the people at, I spelled it wrong, Shechem. Shechem? I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. But that's an interesting location. It's the same place Dinah, if you remember, Jacob's daughter, she was raped near there. It's the same place that, Joshua made that covenant for the people. I mean, that's a really significant location. I looked it up online to find a concise list, and I'm going to read it to you now. I'm reading this from gotquestions.org. I actually didn't spell it wrong. I thought I did. It just looked off to me, but I'll read what it says here. Shechem was a place of promise, first mentioned in Genesis 12, verses 6 through 7. It was the location where Abram stopped at a tree of Morah and received God's promise of the land. And I'm just going to go down and skip a little bit of it. It says it was a place of worship. When the Lord appeared to him at Shechem, Abram built an altar to God at the site. Abram's grandson, Jacob, also built an altar at Shechem, calling it El Eloi Israel, or Mighty God of Israel. Even in the time of Joshua, the altar at Shechem was a holy site of the Lord. It was also a place of man's sin. A Hivite chieftain named Hamor was the father of a man named Shechem, who lived in the city that bore his name. And he raped Jacob's daughter Dinah, which is what I just mentioned, and two of Jacob's sons avenged their sister by slaughtering all the men in the city, including Shechem and Hamor. And then it goes on to talk about in the time of Judges, which we'll read about soon. But it's a really significant location for so many reasons. So I just thought that it's just an interesting place that, that covenant was made. Verses 29 through 30. Joshua dies at age 110. He's buried in the promised land. So we see here that under Joshua's leadership, the people followed God. And that's just a testament to his leadership and making sure that people stayed faithful to God. And we'll read, with his passing and that generation that passes, the following generation forgets. And let that be a good reminder too. Let us not forget in all the things that God has done for us. Let us remain faithful to God, regardless of our circumstances. And I know that could be difficult. I mean, I need to remember this as much as anybody else does, but let us remember God and what he has done for us and how far he has brought us and remain faithful to him. So that is the end of the book of Joshua. We're moving on to Judges. I can't believe that, but let me know what you learned. I post a new Bible study video every Wednesday and Friday at 7 a.m. Eastern, and I can't wait to study the Bible with you again.